Hi, so it's not sexy, it's not exciting. This is the back. We have a lot of work to do. And I wanted to thank you. And my twin is sleeping right now. Thought I would have a coffee in the back porch, which there's a lot of work to do. This is our well. And it dried up because I've been doing laundry 5 times a day because my beautiful twin has been very sick. And so I've been hacking away at the garden and hacking away, trying to reclaim the garden. And kind of thought I'd show you a little bit what I've been doing. And the reason I'm taking some time out is because I needed a break. Watching someone pass away is very difficult, as you can imagine, and we're very private. We're very, very private. Some of you have received pictures of me and my twin and the beautiful poem by Tagore. And I sit here and have my coffee. He's sleeping right now, so I'm not going to bother him because he needs to sleep. Transitioning is hard work, my friends. I have a lot of hummingbirds that come here. Yesterday we had a very intense day. We had an intense day, all of you who are here, and I want to thank you for being here. We had an intense day on claiming 5D. And if I sound impatient, it's because I am. I really need you guys to know how powerful you are. I will beat that drum until you actually understand how powerful you are. I don't really have time to be diplomatic and tell you in soft terms that you're beautiful, you're kind, you're loving. Anyway, so this is our well that dried up for a minute. It scared the shit out of us, and it happens. This is our tree. This, God knows what's in it. It could be good. And this is the apple tree that I bought for my twin to honor him when he passes. Sometimes for me, it's important to organize before I can, you know what I'm saying? That's how I process. We have chipmunks that live here. They're so cute, and people actually try to harm them. Can you imagine? Because they might actually chew wires. Destroy something that may or may not do something. That really blows my mind. There's something wild. Don't freak out, but I got bit by a snake. It was a non-poisonous snake. I was hacking away at all of this because I'm reclaiming it back to the rocks. And I need to do this. I need to do something with my time while my twin does his journey. And what's interesting is that, the beautiful thing is I can rely on my son to be there. So if I'm not with my twin, the beautiful thing is I can rely on my son to be there. So if I'm not with my twin, snakes that live, well, actually, here's one. I don't know if you just saw it. And we had a mouse got caught by one of our cats, and we wanted to save him, so we put him in a box with cheese and water. I know you're not supposed to save mice, but we did, and hopefully he'll make it. So every time our cats catch a mouse, we release it back outside. And they're tiny. They're very, very tiny. And I'm actually not dressed, believe it or not. So I'm going to put my shawl around me. Hang on for a quick second. Let me put the phone here. Bear with me. Or else it'll look like I'm out there in my nightgown, which I am. But so there's a lot of, these neighbors over here are amazing. They're like love. They're just filled with love. Look at these flowers. I want to share this with you because when I bought this place, I wanted to be a retreat, and right now I didn't know my twin was going to be diagnosed with brain cancer. None of us knew. These are our chickens, and they're babies, obviously. We don't eat ticks, and Let me see. They're tiny. Well, they're teenagers, really. This is Lizzie that just jumped off, and this is Isabeau. I don't know if you just saw it. That's Isabeau. And that's Josephine over there looking around, right? And these are Una, and Marjorie. And these are Cochlan's. So I'm going to show you the opening of the land. I don't know, I want to show this to you for everything, for your positive vibes. So when I cut the grass, I make sure that we keep the native plants, right? Keeping everything alive that's native. And here we go. I didn't know he was going to be, well, none of us knew he was going to be diagnosed with brain cancer. And he's a powerful man. This is a man who used to fast 21 days. I would fast 16, he'd fast 21. This is the pallet I'm going to use to grow the watermelons. I tell him every day what I'm planting. And what's fucked up is we would have, everything I'm doing I would have done with him. Let me see. We planted, because you know I'm a David Austin rose girl, so we've planted some David Austin roses, which should be coming up, and they did. And planted sunflowers across the border here. It's a very modest little house, and it was built in 1900, literally 1900, and there's a trash can. These are not my chairs. I would never have plastic chairs in a million years. It's not my thing. But I'm in love with these rocks. Reminds me of Ireland or Scotland. This kind of workmanship that I don't think too many people know how. So excuse the mess on this one. And I'm sitting here like this, having a coffee and trying to figure out where to plant these seeds. It was a powerful day. And I want to thank you for being there, for showing up, those of you who showed up. I want to thank you for believing that your presence mattered, because it does. It did. And I'm going to have my coffee right here. Nice cup of Major Dickinson by Pete's Coffee. I'm not plugging anything. It's just my favorite coffee. This surge of energy. Here's a hummingbird. Bloody hell. They come all the time. Constantly. I mean, we did buy this, so that they would come, but what's beautiful is they come all the time. And crown chakra, third eye, throat chakra, heart chakra, solar plexus, sacral. Oh, there it is. I don't know if you can see him. I wonder if I can do this. Oh, yes, I can. Good. Do you see? Isn't that beautiful? So this house is very modest. There's nothing exciting. Look at the roof. It's like whatever. It's all good. Isn't it gorgeous? Gorgeous. So this is hummingbird medicine for all of you. Look up hummingbird medicine after we do this live. What is the message for you? Isn't that wow? Wow. That beauty. I'm so glad I'm enjoying this with you. It makes me happy. Anyway, if my twin was well, he'd be out here with me. He'd be out here right now. So when people tell you to block your twin, to go no contact, to play those fucking games, to destroy all the pictures of you and your twin, don't fucking do it. Don't fucking do it. Be your own best friend and put the pictures away somewhere, but don't, because you'll regret it, because twins always come back together. They always do. If it's a twin, he'll come back or she'll come back. Unless they're massively toxic. I had a twin flame client who, to be honest, it happens sadly, but she was into satanic rituals, and I mean satanic, real shit, real bloody shit. And of course it's a hell no. And that happens, but I don't think that's your story, you know? So this no contact bullshit, yeah, don't do it. It's a bad idea. Especially, destroying the pictures of you and him laughing and being, and just trust timing and the separation. I love you too. Thank you, Letty. You're always there. Thank you, Beth, Jennifer, Rachel. I didn't think I would be able to do a live today, but something told me, and the grief of losing your twin and every morning waking up to see whether or not they're breathing is a mind fuck. You have no idea, but I'm so honored to walk beside him as he drops his body. And yeah, I garden, and as I garden, I know he's with me. I told him today I'm going to be planting zucchini and watermelon with those beautiful dimples on the side of his cheeks. And he smiled, because everything I'm doing, all of this, he would have done. At 74, he would have done all this. He was that powerful. He could hike a mountain 7 miles. Up into the mountain was a 60-pound backpack, and we would go camping. Well, we did it once, actually. And we had votive candles all through the campsite up in Woodstock, Overlook Mountain in Woodstock. And in the morning, he had figured out how to make me coffee. He had brought my little cup that I adore. Something similar to this, you know? Something similar to this little cup right here. I don't know how to, like that. For some reason, somehow he had brought a filter and he'd make me coffee in the morning. And he taught me that you could enjoy life, enjoy hiking, enjoy nature with no money. None. As long as we had gas, we could go somewhere. And that's how we lived. And we lived in the most incredible, magnificent spaces. And so this is our last commingling of manifesting magic together. This house represents that last manifesting pull. However, I know that he will help me manifest other things as I continue in this incarnation. And the pain of losing someone you love, it's like, I really don't understand half of you who fucking play these no-contact games. I really don't. I don't know why you're listening to coaches who are not in union, who are telling you how to be in union with your twin by telling you not to be in contact. I don't understand the logic of that one. There is no logic to that. You've got to understand, if a coach is not in union and they're telling you not to be in contact with your twin, you are taking advice from their own level of pain. You're taking advice from someone who has no business telling you, because your story is not their story. Their pain is not your pain. It's not. And so to take advice from a coach, I mean, the first thing, it's funny because I used to have clients asking me, are you in union? And to be honest, sometimes I was annoyed, but I was in union. Actually, I started actually doing this in a massive way, right? I was in union. We were talking every day, and we had worked out the issues of our separation. We were still in process, and we finally have graduated to a level where we are no longer flames. Something clicked, and I knew it. Saging him every day, opening the 4 corners above and below, saging myself, of course, working on his chakras. I have not worked on his chakras on a counterclockwise yet, because I asked him permission and he did not give it to me. So to do the counterclockwise work, which we in releasing, there's still divine appointments that he has on his inner world journey. There's dialogues that he has to have with himself. He's having amazing people, amazing men stepping up and calling him, knowing he can't respond, and talking to him, and he's smiling appropriately. He's fully there, 100% there, no doubt, but he can't talk. And they're just telling him about the old days, about when he was a boxer. And this man was 6'3" and absolutely fucking magnetic, charismatic. One of the issues was he was a flirt, but also women would just, I've seen women lick their lips and bite their lower lip. And it wasn't that he was beautiful in the classic sense of a beautiful boy. It was that he was all masculine, all man, all alpha. And he had massive power. When I met him, I was 18. I didn't know he was 33. I thought he was in his regardless. And I saw a man walking across the beach with these powerful thighs, 6'3", broad shoulders, Speedo bikinis in black, and I'll never forget an Arabian headdress. Irish. He was bald, Irish, so he was keeping his head from the sun, being burned from the sun in Florida. And he nodded his head toward, and I just looked at him. And the following day, he tells me I was walking out of the ocean in a white bikini. He actually remembered what I was wearing, and he was right. I had a white bikini. It's the only bikini I had. And we just could, for 2 hours, he would stare, I would stare. Finally, he walked by, said something wildly inappropriate. I called him out on it. Then he laughed, sat down on the beach, and from then on, we started talking about the Bhagavad Gita, reincarnation, the souls, and the journey of souls. And this went on for 2 weeks. In other words, he became my mentor. Sex was all at the table. And I became a vegetarian that night. He told me, be a vegetarian. It will, enrich your consciousness, and just do that. And vegetarian that night. He told me, be a vegetarian. It will, enrich your consciousness, and just do that. And we kept in contact here and there. And then eventually I met my fiance, and I refused to call him because that's how I roll. I was loyal to my husband, to my future husband. And I stopped. So for 27 years, we were in separation until one day I was in meditation, working on my chakras. And I saw him walking across a blue, misty sky in a white robe down to an Arabic headdress. And I thought, oh my God, did he cross over? Went to a psychic because I couldn't trust myself. I was still in my early 40s, went to a psychic, and she said, oh no, he's coming across the ocean. He's actually coming to you. At the time, I knew we were soulmates. I always knew that, but I did not know we were twins. Not yet. The obvious signs that I needed to see until much later. And then I started seeing a pattern that it was something that we all shared as twin flames, twin rays. There was a part of me, when you talk about runner, I was the runner. Because he had left a phone number for me to call him, and I threw it away. And there was something in me that was angry at him. And I don't know why, to be honest. I really don't. But I think I was covered over because I had a purpose with my husband, to have a child with my husband, not with him, not with my twin. And so I understand the runner mentality. I understand what covers people over into the 3D world. And the 3D world for me was working at Macy's, standing on my feet, working 12-hour days. I was very young. I was in my 20s, loved fashion. We'd go to the couture department. I lived in San Diego, working at the Union Square, which is like the fucking place to work if you're going to work in a department store, because it was Saks, Neiman Marcus, I. Magnin. And I would go and visit clothes because I'm half French. I was raised in Italy, Rome, London, King's, and it's to say I was born at a time when my clothes were being made for me. Let's put it that way. And it's not a braggadocio thing. It's just how it was done in Europe. It was just how it was. And so I grew up in ateliers. So of course, in my 20s, I was visiting outfits I aspired to own. And I understand that frequency. I understand wanting a Birkin bag. I understand wanting a Chanel suit. I get it. I was raised by a mother who was massively fashion savvy and gorgeous and elegant. She was like a French Audrey Hepburn, my mother, with green eyes. That was her. So I was raised by that energy, so I get it. But then layers, you're ground to dust by it. Eventually it makes no sense, right? 3D world. And more you start seeing less and less value in things. And the final push for me to understand that thing was my twin saying that he would buy things or get things that were very expensive, he's a Capricorn, massive taste. I'm a Taurus, he's a Capricorn, massive taste. He's the year of the pig, I'm the year of the tiger. I mean, everything there, boom, is in perfection when you talk about union and connection with these sun signs and this Chinese, level of astrology. And anyway, he would have to sell it to pay for this or pay for that. He'd have to sell it. And so more and more he became less and less interested in money and less interested in things. He was more interested in experiences. So he lived in Hawaii And he decided that it was a good idea to just live in a tent, I'm being very honest with you. And he loved living in nature. He was my green man. And he would live in nature. And I remember him once talking to me about walking in the forest of Hawaii, up in the mountains where there would be no human beings would come, far, far away from human contact, like almost like 5-6 hours away from human contact. That's how he liked it. And he would walk nude in the woods. And he told me the story of coming across wild lang lang. Another story he told me of these tiny, tiny birds the size of, I guess, half of your thumb. Imagine these tiny birds flying around him and following him. And that was the life he preferred. He preferred living in nature, being with nature. And I put on this persona of being an alpha male, which was for his own protection. And he was a powerful man. I mean, he could punch someone out and lights out, okay? So it wasn't from a place of fear. But he wasn't able to expand his whole level of the philosopher poet that he innately is, because he had to be a tough guy. And so that is one of the things that has harmed some of our divine masculines. And he is a divine green man masculine, there's no doubt. And I used to tell him about Ireland, which was funny because he's Irish and I'm not. And I knew more about Ireland than he did, which was pathetic. But anyway, he learned a lot from me on the magic of his own people. And he was totally disconnected from his race, his background. He was not the one to wear a t-shirt that said proud to be Irish, because he understood that any flag, any race that you personified was a temporary vessel and it was an illusion. He didn't care about money. He would give you fistful of dollars, I mean $100 bills, and shove it in your hand, not even knowing what he'd give. And he was incredibly generous, and but impatient with this incarnation, being a starseed himself, born in 1947, born around many, can you imagine being born in a world where people don't know shit and still refuse to know more than it's really difficult. So when many of you starseeds think you're suffering, just know this: at least you've got places to go to find people like us who talk this language. He was reading about Zachariah Stitchin's books on the Sumerian tablets, the Emerald Tablet, all that shit in the 70s. No one was talking about this. Not to this level of consciousness. So to say he was lonely is an understatement. So at least he could get some nectar from Hare Krishna, the Krishna. And there were men in the movement that were fucked up, and he knew it. But there were men that were really good men. And the women, amazing. A lot of the women, amazing. Just like peace in their eyes. There's a woman who I've just posted. I reposted some of her videos. Her name is Sime, Syam. Follow her. She's an amazing, the most gentlest soul. When I first saw her walking across in, I'm not going to say where, Southern California, the temple, I had to meet her. I stopped my track. I stared at her walking. She looked like a column of peace. So there's something about meditation that happens to the troubling inner landscape of you knowing that you're not where you're supposed to be, and yet you are where you're supposed to be. You are supposed to be a torch of light. You're supposed to be a tall drink of water. You're supposed to be a poet, a philosopher that says the right things because it comes from your heart, to help people navigate the pain of feeling as if they're in the wrong planet in the wrong time. You're actually in the right place at the right time for the right reasons. And you need to value yourself enough and value the way you speak and move people can change people. And I'm calling all of us Johnny Appleseeds. We're here to scatter our seeds across the planet, and some will take root and some will not. You don't be concerned with what doesn't take root, okay? Be grateful for what is planted and what does form into a small sapling, a small tree that will bear fruit, okay? And then go. For a minute there, we thought he was passing away. He is passing away, except he's very powerful. The nurse told me that he is Very, very. She's never seen anything like it. He's very powerful. And his brother came over because you saw my twin used to lift weights, right? So he had a beautiful body, not like a bodybuilder, like, but like the kind of body you stop and go, wow. You know, that's how warriors used to look 2,000 years ago. You know, that kind of body. Anyway, so I can't believe it. His thighs are just still beautiful. Like, wow. Man's been bedridden for 3 months. And it is a testament to his tenacity to care for himself and to see his body as a temple. But he also saw it, as Anthony Bourdain said, like a carnival. So he abused his body as well, unfortunately. And being a hippie that never grew up out of being a hippie, which I think is a great testament to his power, is, and what does that mean? It means he was irreverent, rebellious, and knew the system was fucked up from the giddy up, okay, in the 1960s, and it never ended. Whereas many hippies hung up their long hair, you know, meaning they cut their hair off and became part of the established problem. That was not his story. See, look at that. They're flying and playing. And that's a testament. So he was quite often alone. Quite often alone. And quite often without a partner. Not because he couldn't get a partner, trust me. It's because he didn't want women that just didn't understand the consciousness. And apparently we were supposed to meet again in the process of your separation. You're not being punished. Stop fucking wailing that you're in separation with your twin. Stop it. Do I understand it? Yes, I do. But I'm going to give you advice that I wish I had gotten, but I couldn't meet any twin flame coach that I would have learned over the decades of my journey. Is that every move, every loss, every death, every birth, every joy was necessary to make you as you are today. Do not bemoan failures. Those failures were triumphs. There were triumphs to teach you maybe humility, maybe teaching you patience. In other words, when you are in separation from your twin, you have unfinished business with yourself and other people who you have divine appointments with. And your twin would put you, and let me just say, when I would crawl into my twin's arms, I never slept better than ever. We would wake up with our fingers intertwined and laugh and talk softly as the sun rose. We would make love in nature. We would lay out nude constantly together in different parts of the country and enjoy the sun's rising over the horizon, or, you know, watching the sunset and planting and vegetables and just getting it together. I was never happier than with my twin, never more destroyed than with my twin. And all of it was necessary. And so when you wake up tomorrow morning without your twin, instead of saying why and cry, say thank you, thank you, thank you. I know that the universe is wise. I know that I am in full gratitude that this separation is necessary for my highest good, for her highest good. And I surrender to your wisdom. Change your internal dialogue about your separation and stop listening to fucking coaches who are not fucking coaches. They have no business coaching. What they have a business of is creating them to tell you about journeys. But you can't coach unless you've been in and out of union. Okay? And you know exactly why the separation happened. You know exactly why the union went back into union. There are twin flame coaches that have the balls to have never had sex with their twin, never kissed their twin, who are coaches. And people like you, at your most vulnerable, are actually hiring them. And they've never even set eyes, physical eyes, on their twin. Be careful. Because we need you. We need you. There's 144,000 of us in union. And when my twin passes, a new couple will come into union, or will be their first meet. A new couple will come into union, or will be their first meeting on it and other planets. And with that said, sorry about the mess, but I gotta clean this up at some point. Move it over there to that pile. Not fucking burn the whole land down, whole burn. But hopefully I'll be able to do it well. I mean, I'm gonna call the fire department, don't worry, but I'm not that crazy. Out there, I've got to cut down, you see, all the way back to the rocks, which is what he would have wanted me to do. We would have done it together. I get snake repellent now because being bit by a snake, that was, thank God, non-poisonous. We've got copperheads here and black diamond rattlesnakes. When we're using a weed whacker, you can't hear them no matter what. So be careful. I have to be careful. Anyway, I wanted to thank you for being here and listening to my ramblings, and hopefully it'll help. It'll help you, but please don't destroy the pictures of your twin in separation. Don't. There are pictures that I wish I had right now. I have tons of pictures. We have pictures of the first massive union where we're laying back in the sun. We're nude, actually, and we're just doing selfies and laughing, sticking out our tongues and just being silly and goofy. And thank God I never got rid of those pictures. Those of him reciting incredible poetry, and just because it's just how he's wired. He's like this badass blue collar worker, transcending it. I mean, he's my gangster guru, is what I call him, my gangster guru. And so I'll be working on a book about our lives. I told him about him, his life, my life, and how we met, and how we were raised in these circumstances that made us the perfect storm, the waves that crashed against each other, and how his experience and my experiences created this rebelliousness that was needed so that I can continue the work when he drops his body. And of course he'll walk beside me, I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it as I take my next breath. And he will escort me to my meeting with him once I'm out of this body. But I'm going to tell you something. You better be careful who you fucking hire to help you, because these bastards are MFers, and I'm getting sick of them. And if you think I'm angry now, you have no idea how when my twin passes, how fucking angry I'm going to be. And I'm going to start calling out these coaches by name. So you have no, and I'm sorry. Yes, it's a battle. It's a spiritual battle. And you don't have to use me. Use Andromeda Flame. Use somebody else. I don't give a shit who you use. But don't use people who know nothing of what they're talking about. And yes, I'm angry. Righteously angry, like Archangel Michael angry. Not angry like toxic angry. Righteously angry, because I want you to win. I want you to be in union with your high-level soulmate or twin flame. Because when you are in this joyous place of feeling contained by your beloved and feeling embraced and embracing your beloved, this nation of this magnificent, blissful experience you're having heals the planet. It feeds the planet. It feeds us in the collective. Some of us who are lost are twins. Some of us who are in separation of our twin. So of course I want you to win. And of course I want to hear your successes. I have a friend of mine who's a twin ray, and she tells me about how she's made love to her beloved, and then she's sorry because I'm dealing with losing my beloved. And I say, why would I be jealous? Why would I be envious? I've had those moments. I'm so glad you're having those moments yourself. There's no place for jealousy or envy. There's no place for that. But I will start calling them out by name. I don't give a shit if I start a spiritual war. It's time. Because I want you guys to win. And I want you to feel the nectar that I have felt in the arms of my high-level soulmate and in the arms of my beautiful twin, who taught me so much. And he taught me so much from some of the things he triggered in me, the shadows I thought I, healed, which clearly weren't healed. And yet, if he hadn't been hard on me, I wouldn't have been honest and hell-bent on finding the reasons why I was being triggered to things I thought I had healed. Proudly, by the way. Oh, I healed this. Yeah, good luck. Here it comes. So I kind of know what it feels like to go through massive dark night of the souls. But you'll find that when you sit in the pain, it's a pain that will not come back. not that particular version of a pain, of a broken heart. That will heal, and it will never hurt like that. You will become transcendental, and to become transcendental, pain is part of a training mechanism of our heart chakra that never closes down and never turns into a stone, but actually breaks to expand bigger and better than before. And because it becomes more expansive and greater and bigger, it can contain more love for everything and everyone. So trust the heartbreaks. Trust its wisdom. Trust why it's happening. And if your twin is unable to speak to you, trust that you can speak to them remotely. All of it is all true. But the first thing you got to understand is that you can't gaslight yourself anymore. You know? You got to open your crown chakra to communicate with the third eye, because of that downloads from the expansiveness of the downloads of the keys, golden keys of ascension that are coming through the crown chakra, so that the communication happens, so that you can speak your truth, so that you can be in your heart coherence, so that your sacral solar plexus, can give you all the power you need to move forward. Little bug. To purge everything in you, to give you the foundation of power. I am connected with the energies of Mother Earth. My mind and spirit are grounded, centered, and purified. Anyway, sending you much love on your journey. Namaste. Be well.